start off with a couple anchor strips. So everything's going to tie into these 2 anchor strips, so it'll all be 1 unit. So the majority of the time it's going to be an inversion ankle sprain, so where you pull up last with tape is where you get the most support. So we're always going to start with our stirrups. We're going to start on the inside, pulling up on the outside, supporting the lateral structures. Okay?
All right.
Depending on the size of the person and the foot and if they're injured or not. The basic start would be like two stirrups.
Okay.
Usually 3. Football players maybe a few more. But you don't have to fill them with the stirrups. Okay, so we got anchor stirrups pulling up on the outside. We got to lock these in place because when you put your foot down, the tape's just going to kind of wad up if you didn't do something about it. So we'll start off one that goes all the way around. Not just to itself. And we'll do like horseshoe halfway, overlapping the last strip, working our way down. Not on the bottom of the foot, but to the bottom of the foot.
Perfect.
Okay? You kind of have to encourage it to stay, because at this point you're going to relax your foot. It goes down, so you're going to clean up anything that's trying to peel away. And this is going to make sure that the stirrups stay where they're supposed to stay. Actually, the stirrups come around and they kind of go right over the top of the calcaneofibular ligament. So in an inversion sprain, anterior talofibular is going to get beat up first, and then the second one's going to become involved. If the first one goes, stretches and tears. Okay?
Okay.
So, we're going to pull up last so we get our supports on the outside. We start down here. Now, we're not going to start pulling on this thing. We're just going to wrap it around almost as if we were closing something off. With just the tension of the roll.
Okay.
Don't pull on it until we get behind the base of the 5th metatarsal. Because if you pull any earlier than that, it's going to be too tight. So it's just a basic figure 6. I'm still just laying it on until I'm fully past the base of the 5th. See, I'm going to start to flare it out a little bit. Getting just beyond that, so now I can give a little pull to it. I'm working my way up. You can see I'm kind of gradually starting back further. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm crossing over the anterior talofibular ligament. So now I start to pull. I make sure they're relaxed. Still fanning back. Now you can feel I'm pulling a lot harder.
Yep.
Okay, so I've covered that, fanned over both the 1st and 2nd ligament. Make sure everything's kind of tied down. I go to where the horseshoe strips were, and I'm going to tie that so I give them just a little bit of lift. And I'm going to go around and lock that into the bottom portion. So now the top and bottom is going to be connected. 2 strips there. Go to the very top, seal everything in. And then take it down to those first 2 strips that I put on there. So now you take this and you bring it up here. Okay, so if you get a tear, it's going to be this one little strip right here. And that tells you that it gives them the freedom to go back into dorsiflexion as far as you need to, or as far as they need to. And what you're going to notice is, try to invert that. So it controls that,
Right.
but none of your dorsiflexion, none of the movements this way is affected. So all it's going to do is prevent abnormal inversion, or inversion to the point where it's going to put stress on the anterior talofibular. So one of the things that people say is they're so used to the coach putting, or whoever putting figure 8s nonstop, that they go, I need more tape. No, you don't. Can you put some more heel locks on? Because they're so used to just everything being squeezed, and that feel you get when this is like the position that you squeeze it in. But down here, all we're trying to do is limit inversion, excessive inversion. So if in fact, because you know it's on skin, so there's some movement, but if in fact you go beyond the normal limits and the anterior talofibular ligament becomes involved, then if that's stretched and or torn to a certain degree, then the calcaneofibular ligament gets pulled into the mix, and that's going to be. So we had the first horseshoe strips, or the stirrups, taken care of. If that second one gets involved, it's got a little backup help there too. And the first one's all taken care of by the figure six. Tying it all together. If it's too low, you're not going to get a good pull. You're not going to get the kind of the angle that you need. I probably could have went one more back. But once I'm past the base of the fifth, I can pull all I want. Or I can pull to the point where I can sometimes tear the tape, because you can give it that much. Basically, all we're going to do is once you stand up on it, see how it feels.